You are watching T to the M to the IDD.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? T to the M to the IDD. We are back with another video for you. Today, I wanted to talk specifically about studio photography. Some people may have a problem with renting studio spaces because they definitely cost a lot over time, especially with their hourly rate. But also, a lot of people may be on location photographers, but when the weather comes in and winter changes over, you can't shoot outside anymore. And so you have to find a place inside where you can create your magic, right? So for me, it is my home studio. Now, I am blessed in the fact that I do have the space that I have, which is still small, but some people don't even have that much space. And so what I wanted to do was give you 5 different ways that you could get that studio type portrait while you're still working in a small space. Ideally, you would have an entire setup with a backdrop system, and you will be able to change that out with enough space for a model to do all sorts of poses, right? But everybody does not have that luxury. So I just want to offer a few different ways that you can still get some studio photography done in a smaller space. Okay, now this originally started with me doing a series on being able to create dynamic images in my home studio, but just simply using one particular area of a wall. And this wall section was about 3 to 4 feet, if that. So that is going to be the first way that you can create these studio type images if you don't have a backdrop system. Okay, so a wall, you can get creative with the lighting patterns that you use and still come out with some great images. I've done this on numerous occasions where I've just used maybe a conical snoot or optical snoot or things that I can modify the light just to add some interest, because all I have is the wall to get my portrait on. So try to be dynamic and think of that, but a wall could do you justice. Now, the second thing that you could use going into modifiers is you can actually backlight your subject and get kind of like that high key look. And most of the time people do that with like a 65-inch umbrella, but you can still accomplish that with something like a 36 and do a little Photoshop magic. Now, you can actually get a couple of different looks with that. If you put the sock on, then you can get an extremely white background, which could be nice. But then if you take the sock off that umbrella, and if the interior is white or silver, then that will give you another background look that will be different. And so that will offer you another studio type look without having a backdrop system. Now, the third thing that you could do is use a reflector kit. One of the most popular reflector kits today is the 43-inch 5-in-1 reflector kit. And so just in that sense, excluding the scrim, you have about 4 different backdrops in one that you could place behind your model and get a different shot with each different piece of material that comes in that 5-in-1. And that will offer you several different looks. And then when you add the different variations of lighting patterns that you can contribute to that creative process, you have some different dynamic pieces that will offer you different looks all in this small space. And keep in mind, you don't need a lot of space to set that up, which brings me to my fourth thing that you can use, which is actually a pretty quick and easy setup. Maybe if you are limited to space, one of the best things that I started with was the smaller backdrops. Okay, so the smaller backdrops, they are typically about 3 feet wide, and so they are not big at all. But what you can combine that with, you don't even need a backdrop system. You can take a C-stand with a boom arm, use the boom arm, and put that smaller backdrop roll onto that boom arm, clamp it, and raise it up. And I've used that as well. It's a pretty quick and easy setup. And in terms of the form factor, it is pretty small. Like you can get that done and pretty much in any part of your house. And so with these techniques, you could pretty much pop this up at anywhere in your house and still be able to get that shot. Now, the last thing that I would say is one of the things where you just absolutely have no resources in terms of backdrops. Maybe you don't have that 5-in-1 reflector. Maybe you don't have all those modifiers to use those as like a backlit situation. And so in this case, we are talking about just all flat out killing the ambient lighting and just going straight into lighting the subject. And so what that essentially does is that will take all the ambient lighting out of the shot, where you just have a pitch dark scene, and then you use your lighting source just to illuminate the subject in the frame. And so that way you have the subject lit and you have the background and everything in it, wherever you may be. You could be in the kitchen, and just because of the settings and killing the ambient lighting, you will not be able to see any of the surroundings. The only thing you will be able to see is the subject. Now, these are 5 different things that I think could potentially help somebody if you find yourself either in a position where you don't have a lot of space to create, you don't have a lot of the modifiers to create, and things of that nature. Now, I would definitely like to hear from you all. Some of the people who have studios that are really, really small and you're really working with a small area, definitely let me know some of the things that you have run into while you try to create, and we can definitely go over some of those things and try to adjust them so that everyone can create no matter what restrictions you may have. Now, this is T to the M to the IDD. I appreciate you tuning in, and until the next video, peace. What is going on, guys? You just tuned in to T to the M to the IDD. And if you enjoy this content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you really enjoy the content, check out some more of the videos that you see right here. Oh yeah, and hit that like button for me.